Hey guys, Adam Woods here with the Larussa team at GMFS Mortgage here in Baton Rouge. Today I wanted to go over some different things that we get, different questions, common questions and common doubts that I get from people buying a home looking for a mortgage. And so I just wanted to go over a few of those today from things that I have gotten and that you guys are asking. So first one here with a common question that I get is specifically with first time home buyers is the doubt that I'm not ready to buy or I don't have good enough credit to buy. Okay, so let's talk about that. So, credit. A lot of people are unaware of how credit works, and then specifically with the mortgage. So, mortgage companies, GMFS specifically, we have our credit guidelines that we have to go off of. But a common myth, especially with first time home buyers, is that you got to have excellent credit in order to buy. Well, that's not the case. Now, it can help. But that's just a piece of the whole total puzzle when it comes to a mortgage. We can go all the way down into the lower 600s, and in some cases, in certain situations, we can go up into a 580. So we have a lot of flexibility with how much which loan programs we have for different credit scores. So what I would tell you is if you're worried about that, if you're worried about that your credit score is not high enough, then what I would say is, hey, the best thing we can do is let's take a look at it. Okay. By no means am I a credit repair expert, but by looking at it enough every day, we can hopefully help. Let's talk through it. Let's walk through different situations and see, hey, you actually don't need to get your credit score up. You can buy right now as it is. So that's something that you don't have to wait. Now, it may be beneficial to help get your score up along the way, which we can do, but you don't necessarily have to wait. So that's one thing that I would definitely say with the credit. Another common question that I get from a lot of buyers, or another doubt as well, is they don't think they can buy because they don't have 20%. Adam, I don't have 20% to put down. So I can't buy, or I've never even explored buying. Well, guess what? The good news is, I know that's a common thing that we all heard growing up. But the amazing news is in today's world, the vast majority of people do not have 20% to buy, to put down for their house. A lot of people don't have that, but a lot of people do have the minimum. In today's world, there are a ton of options that you can put down. The minimum that most people are putting down, especially for a first time, is anywhere from 3 to 5%. So that's 3 to 5% of whatever the purchase price is. So a lot of young people may not have that 20%, but I guarantee a lot of people do have that 3 to 5%. So that is definitely one thing that I would say is let's talk about that. You definitely do not have to have 20%. And a common question, kind of parlaying into that, is because a lot of people say, I want to put 20 or wait until I get 20% so I can avoid PMI. Or mortgage insurance. So let's talk about that. Mortgage insurance. That is a big bad thing that we're always scared of. We don't know what it is, and we want to avoid it like the plague. Well, the good news is in today's world, mortgage insurance does not have to be that bad. In fact, there are a ton of options to where you can put less than that 20% down and somewhat get out of that mortgage insurance, or it's actually not as bad as a lot of people think. Sometimes, if you have the 20%, a lot of times I have seen it and people are amazed by it. We'll talk about the 20% option, but then we talk about, hey, well, let's look at putting 10% down or 15% down if we have that. And in some cases, that can be a big chunk of money. That can be thousands of dollars that we're getting to keep in our pocket. And then we look at the mortgage insurance to where, hey, actually, that I can keep $10,000 in my pocket by putting 15% down, and then my mortgage insurance is not much at all. It's maybe 20, $30 a month. So that's one thing that where it all comes back to. Let's talk about what your goals are. Let's educate you on the process. Talk about your different options because a lot of people just don't know the options. So mortgage insurance does not have to be bad. It goes off of a lot of different things. Your credit score is one. The type of loan program, which conventional program you're using, and then how much you're putting down, your loan to value, all affect how much money or how much your mortgage insurance is going to be every month. So, what I would say with mortgage insurance is if you don't have that 20%, it's okay because mortgage insurance is not that bad compared to what a lot of people think. And then you can buy out of the mortgage insurance. You have that option as well. So I would definitely encourage you, don't stray away from it just simply because of mortgage insurance. Okay. All right, so another question that you guys put that I get a lot is, do I have to have anything besides my down payment? This is an amazing question, and I get this all the time, especially with first-time home buyers, is the confusion or the misunderstanding of any funds that are outside of a down payment. So let's talk about that. All right, so how I like to typically explain it is there are three buckets, okay, that go into the total cash that you have to buy a house, okay? The first one is the down payment. We know that, okay? That's going to be whatever me and you talk about, whatever we decide on. Whether it's at 3%, 5, 10, 15, whatever that number is, that's going to be the first bucket, the down payment, okay? That's not it. That's what a lot of people are confused on. There are two other pieces that are going to go into what the total cash and money that you need to buy a house. The second bucket and the third bucket, they can kind of be lumped in, but I like to separate them so you fully understand it. The second bucket is your escrow, or your prepaid items you'll hear, or basically what it costs to set up an escrow account. So what an escrow account is so every single month when you make your total monthly payment, okay, you're going to, a portion of your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes are going to go into a separate account called an escrow account, where at the end of the year, you're going to get a tax bill, or you're going to get your bill for your insurance and your taxes saying that you owe whatever, $2,500. Well, you're not going to pay that. GMFS, your lender, will pay that money for you through your escrow account. Okay, so all an escrow account is you setting money aside every month to pay your insurance and your taxes. Okay, so we have to set that account up for you in the beginning. So we're going to collect a full year's worth up front of your homeowner's insurance, and then we're also going to collect for your property taxes as well, which there will be prorations in there, but we're going to collect for both of those things. That way you always have money in your escrow account to where your bill doesn't have to go up if there's a shortage. So the second piece, the second bucket, is setting up your prepaid items. That's going to be a big thing, and that could just be dependent on how much your insurance and taxes come back at. The third bucket that I like to throw in there that everyone should know about is going to be your closing costs. Okay, your closing costs, or which most people are familiar with, those are the costs that it's the lender's fees, it's the title company's fees, the appraisal. All of those things are going to be added into for your total closing costs. And that's an important thing because if we're talking, let's make sure, hey, we've got enough money. We don't have just our down payment. Now, there are situations where the seller can pay your closing costs for you in certain environments. That can happen, and that's why the importance of having a good real estate agent comes into play, because they can help negotiate that when it comes into the contract. So that's a huge one for sure, is understanding that, guys. A lot of people I have seen, unfortunately, are a little shocked when they say, hey, I've just got the money for the down payment. Sometimes we can arrange it to where that's all you have to buy, but I would definitely encourage you to understand and just have that expectation of, hey, there are several more things out there besides your down payment that you got to be prepared for in a worst case scenario. Another question, let's see, that I got from you guys is, am I able to use a gift? Okay, gift funds, that's awesome. That's going to go in and can kind of help with the cash to close. So yes, almost every loan program, you are going to be eligible for a gift funds, or for getting gift funds. And what that is so say you don't have, let's just say your total cash out of pocket is $10,000, let's call that, okay? Let's just say you only have $5,000. Well, depending on the loan program, you are eligible to get a gift from a family member. Now that's important because it has to be from a family member, but they can gift you the $5,000 with no tax liabilities. They can gift you those funds to help cover the difference. And that has helped a tremendous amount of people because they were able to get a gift funds from their family members. So yes, absolutely, you can get a gift funds. All right, let's see. Another question is, this is good. What documents do I need for the loan process? This is a very good question that a lot of people that we see come in, they're either not prepared for it or they just want to know. So what I would tell you, okay, if you want to get a mortgage, in the near future. What I would say, just things that we are going to be looking for that you would need. Okay, first and foremost, we're going to be looking for pay stubs and W-2s. Income is going to be one of the biggest things that we want to look for to make sure that we get an accurate count for how much income we can use for you. So typically, if you're a W-2 employee, what we're going to ask for is your last 30 days of pay stubs. Okay, so we want to see the most recent pay stubs that you have made year to date to make sure that you're on track. The other thing that we're going to look for is your last 2 years of W-2s. Okay, if it was right now, if it's 2022, we're going to want to see your 2019 and 2020. And then we would want to see 2021 as soon as that comes out. So we want to see 2 years of work history, which means 2 years of W-2s, 30 days of pay stubs to show that you're on track. And then in terms of assets, we're going to want to look at the last 2 months of bank statements. So really, whichever account that your funds are coming from, we want to be able to show that the money has been in there, and we're going to want to make sure that we can use those assets. Okay, so the last 2 months of bank statements, pay stubs, W-2s, any retirement account, 401k, if you're going to need that, we're going to want those statements, driver's license, social security card. Those are all forms that we are for sure going to need in the loan process. So make sure that you have those, okay? Make sure that you can gather those, get those gathered up before you even start. That way we can go ahead and get them in and keep the ball rolling for you. All right, so let's see. Last question that I typically get is, or a doubt, is I want to put as much down as possible to lower my payment. This is good. This is huge because this kind of goes back to let's talk about this at first, see what our goals are. Okay. A common myth that we see in here is that you have to put as much money down, which the 20% marker, we want to put every bit that we have down to get our monthly payment as low as possible. What's amazing to me, and I enjoy this so much, is really explaining when I sit down with a client in my office, is really showing them what the numbers mean, okay, and how those numbers differentiate based off of your down payment. A good rule of thumb that I typically see and that I show people is that per every $1,000 that's in your loan amount is really only about $5 a month difference in your payment. So that means $5,000 that you're putting down is $25 a month, give or take, 25 to $30 a month difference in your total monthly payment. Same thing, $10,000 only affects your monthly payment around $50 a month. So that's why I like to educate people and talk about this at first, because I don't know about y'all, but I would notice $10,000 that maybe I could keep in my pocket a lot sooner than I would notice maybe 25 to $50 a month difference in my payment. So that's why let's talk about it. That's a very good question. Let's see what your goals are. Do I want my cash flow? Do I want to keep some of that money in my pocket? Or for expenses, because we all know there are expenses outside of buying a home with the loan. So there are funds outside of that. Or would I rather keep my monthly payment as low as possible? So we'll talk through that. I'm going to talk through that with you, and we'll see which one benefits you the most and which one is best for your situation.